I'd just like to start by saying it's a pretty special thing having the 2001 National Championship team back here. You know, those guys for me, I was at that game, National Championship. I was in the wrong section. I was in the Arizona section, believe it or not. But I remember just that team, the ultimate drive and kick team, some of the greatest players ever to play college basketball, one of the greatest teams ever to play college basketball. I wish we put a better performance on for those guys, because those guys had incredible toughness, but they played incredibly selfish and smart basketball. And I thought our guys made the plays required to win. You got to give SMU credit. Toombs had a big time game. You know, Edwards thought was really good, stepping up with Miller being out. But we have to be better. That's the bottom line. I have to help them better. It starts with me, and we have to be steadier. You know, we're a little bit like this right now on a roller coaster ride. And so, again, for me, it's growing, learning. What an opportunity to learn from a win, which is a blessing. To be 4-0 in our league is great. But my thing is about growth and learning, which we will get back to the film, get back to practice, and continue to do that. I want to say one more thing, and then any questions. I'm really proud of the fact of Caden Boozer. You know, what he did for us tonight, he completely steadied us. He was, I thought, terrific. Pat, you know, has his career high, and you know, we know Pat, how special of a player he can be, and I thought they had a great response. You know, you can get into starting, you can get into all this other stuff, all this superficial stuff, and man, those guys are pros. They had a great attitude, and they really, they're the two biggest plus minuses in this game. So I love seeing that, and I'll open it up for questions from there.
Yeah, John, you mentioned some of the up and down. Obviously, they come in even without Kevin. They have one of the best offenses, not just in the ACC, but in the country. Where would you sort of say you guys are at defensively right now? And you mentioned maybe being able to help you guys more. What do you mean in that respect, specifically on the defensive side?
Well, it's hard to feel very good when they shoot, you know, 56% from the field all game. And, you know, I thought there were some great sequences, you know, in the Louisville game in the second half. But you have to adjust. You have to move on. You have to have a different scouting report now. They're a different team. They do different things, and it's been an issue. You know, that's been an issue. And I think it gives teams life when you're careless with the ball, and then they get to see the ball go in. Those are easy baskets, and that's been a little bit of an issue for us. And at the same time, we're pushing. We're not scoring. You know, we had 0 fast break points. And so I think there's some things for me, idealistically, how I would like us to play and want to play, but also things that I have to be honest with myself and with our guys, areas we aren't being as good. So I think our offense hurts our defense, and then obviously I could go through a whole lot of things, why a team shoots 55% from the field.
John, to kind of follow up on that, how do you balance being clean with forcing 21 turnovers versus getting a shot from the field?
It's tough, right? It's tough. Now, I thought there were some great sequences. Like Dame in that first half, man, you know, his defense was loud. Like that was a heck of a segment. Malik, obviously, with his activity, but collectively, it's not there at the moment. And so you can go through and say, all right, it's this guy's responsibility or it's this guy's responsibility. Ultimately, it's all of ours, and we have to turn the page and get there. That's so I think that's the biggest thing.
John, over here. Can you put a finger on the slow starts and how you fix that?
Obviously not. You know, I wish I could. You know, I think a big thing for us is lineup combinations in terms of who can complement one another. You know, just try to do something different. You know, I'll tell you this, we're not just going to sit back and let it keep happening. You know, it happened today, but not for a lack of trying or not for a lack of emphasis. And so our guys, they hear me talk about it every day. I think there's a certain level of, it's hard when you just give up a layup or a wide open three to start. You know, that's been a tough thing for us. So now we've been elite at responding. You know, we got back in the game. What was it, 13-3? I think it's 17-14 or something like that. But that has to be better, and we'll continue to look at different ways to figure that out.
Coach, you kind of touched on it with the lineup combinations, but I just wanted to ask you about the 3-1 tonight. his first start, Dominic back in the lineup. Just what were you looking for from that five and how did you go with that?
Defense, defense just from, Dami and Malik, and Pat obviously is a big time defender. Caden's been a really good defender. Just trying to get a spark, and also, one of the things in looking at what we've done, Caden hasn't played, as much with Pat, and so you're trying to get some of the rotations in a better way. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. And I think we're going to have a group that starts differently going forward. I think we're going to start differently in second halves. We have a different team. It's not like a clear set five. And so I think that's the great part about this team, and then that's the thing we got to figure out at the same time.
Coach, talking about the star spell, I'm talking about the finish of the first half. You guys scored, or trying to take the air out of the ball, I think, with Caden, and ended up going. I think Duke scored about 10 seconds left, and SMU went down to 3 or 4 halftime. What would you like to see there to not give up that type of three? You guys had like 5 fouls. I didn't know if there was a foul yet or just contest.
Yeah, end of halves, last 2 games. The Louisville game, we went way too soon. This game, I'm fine with the time that we went because, there's still a difference where they are going to get a shot. So you still want to get the best shot you can get, so it's fine with the time. We talked about taking a take foul in the huddle. We didn't execute it, cost us 3 points. That's the bottom line. We have to, I have to find a way to get my point across better, and then our guys have to execute, those things in that moment, because 3 points, difference of going 9 versus 6, those are big plays. And so we have to be better in the path.
Coach, you mentioned 56% shooting. This is like the 5th game in a row where the opponents have shot better than 50%, which is a huge difference from like the first games of the year. What have you seen that's different? What's happening? What's causing that?
Well, I don't think it's just what's different with us. I think it's different with who you play too. And I think the first 10 games of the year, we played some really good teams. But also, I mean, look, SMU is a powerful offense. They're a team that can do both, even without Miller. I mean, obviously Miller makes them better and more dangerous. You think about the fact, and what happens is Miller goes out, now Toombs isn't more, and then Toombs goes off. And so there's always, an effect when a really good player is out. Same thing, we play some really good shooting teams. And, I mean, look, bottom line, I think the consistency with when we even defended as well, they beat us in the paint, they beat us in the rebounding battle, and then yet they still shot 50% from 3. So there's obviously things we got to clean up and do better. To me, it's mentality, and then obviously there's some X and O's, strategic things that we got to help them with as coaches.
Coach, I know throughout the presser we mentioned defense, and even in speaking to the players, they mentioned effort at times. And Monday during the presser, you mentioned about effort defensively. Do you believe this team is more about effort more than the X's and O's, or where do you think that problem lies with this defensive team for Duke?
Well, look, this team has shown great character when it matters most. They wouldn't, what are we, 15? 15-1. We're 15-1. I mean, these guys have made, still big-time plays, getting the stops when required. We haven't yet learned the inflection points of a game. We come out and start the second half, a couple turnovers, and now it becomes a different game. I think it's just maturity. I think it's learning how to still play with each other. And then there are things that, again, as coaches, every team's different, so we got to help them with this group. But love coaching these guys, man. I want us to grow faster. This thing, all of a sudden, we're halfway through, and I want us to not have to learn from a loss or learn from a big setback. And, tonight we put ourselves in a position where, a play here, a play there, that can happen.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.